Wait, hold on. Is my name Hitomi Osawa? At my shout, the man with the cane hesitates, his finger on the trigger. What do you mean by that? The barrel of the gun is still aimed squarely at my head. I mean exactly what I said. Is my name Hitomi Osawa? I don't know who I am. You're trying to play games with me. I'm not playing with anyone, I swear. I'm utterly desperate now. Getting killed is one thing, but who wants to die without even knowing who they are? Tell me, am I Hitomi Osawa or not? The man gives me a good, hard look. Damn it, I wonder. He continues to study me along the barrel of his gun. Tell me what you know. It's an order, not a request. What I know about what? Look, I have amnesia. I quickly summarize what's happened to me since I woke up in that storehouse. The man listens intently, never taking his eyes off me. Ah, I see. So that's what's going on then. Once I'm done with my story, the man with the cane sits down on an empty soda crate. Seems he believes me at any rate. That's a relief, if nothing else. So then, am I Hitomi Osawa? No. Then who is Hitomi Osawa? Is she someone who looks like me? Shut your mouth, the man spits. Just be quiet. His expression is vacant. What am I going to do? He mutters to himself. If I'm not Hitomi Osawa, does that mean you don't have any business with me? Seems so. In that case, can I go? The assassin doesn't answer. He lets his pistol hang limp in his hand, the muzzle dropping to point at the ground. It doesn't look like he wants to kill me anymore, but it doesn't look like he'll just let me go quietly either. I feel like if we could stop him from killing Hitomi, that would be good. Let's try and do something about that gun he has, and then make a run for it. I pick up one of the crates that are lying around in the alley and hurl it at the man with the cane. Then I book it right out of there. I run for a long time without looking back. When I finally do take a peek over my shoulder, there's no sign of the guy following me. Slowing my run to a walk, I notice Miku, the girl I fought for those cases of burning hammers, sitting on a nearby staircase. Thanks for earlier, I call out. She gives me a puzzled look. You let me have those diet drinks from the knick-knack shop? Revelation dawns on her face. Oh, right. I didn't recognize you since you're not a cat anymore. What are you doing here? I ask. Just like, you know. She gives me a half-hearted smile. Say, where'd you learn Aiki Jujutsu? Huh? The question catches me off guard. I don't know what to say. Your Aiki Jujutsu, where did you learn it? My Aiki Jujutsu? Now that she mentions it, that's a great question. I mean, I must have learned somewhere, or my body wouldn't have moved the way it did back then. Yeah, honestly, I was kind of dismissing that as just kind of some of the goofy stuff that this game was pulling off, but I mean, now that we know that it's actually, like, something that we should take seriously, then I think it's probably something like, she trained with Kanan. I wonder who taught me. Try as I might, though, I can't remember. Miku interprets my silence as a refusal to answer. She lets out an annoyed snort. What is it, a trade secret? Fine then. How long did you train? Not that long, I guess? Probably? I'm just trying to avoid telling her I have amnesia, but she obviously thinks I'm being secretive. You know, she says angrily, after losing to you, I've completely fallen apart. I've lost everything. Do you know how that feels? To feel like you've lost hold of the thing that makes you you. I nod with conviction. I do know. I've lost things too. Like my memory. You do? Well, I can't take this anymore. I'm having a complete breakdown of identity. Developmental psychologist Eric Homburger Erickson was a key proponent of the concept of self-identity, the ability of individuals to continually and reliably know who they are and what they should do. I mean, I'm saying this having lost you and all, but a long time ago... Oh, do you mind if I tell you some stuff from a long time ago? Anyway, so a long time ago. And so, Miku launches into her story. You think maybe it is for the best if I quit? She asks at last. By now, 15 minutes or more have gone by. I've listened to Miku go on and on about her teenage years because I feel bad about getting her so depressed, but yikes. She's asked me all these questions I don't even understand, but although I'm starting to get sort of fed up with her angst, I keep my patience and respond as best as I can. If you love doing it, then I don't think you should quit, I tell her. Chances are, if you try to do something else, you're just going to come back to martial arts anyway. Besides, you probably owe it to the person who sent you down this path in the first place. You think so? Maybe you're right. Yeah, you are. Miku's face has regained a measure of cheerfulness. Thanks, I'm gonna keep on practicing more and more so I get stronger. I'm not gonna lose to you next time. Huh, I'll keep that in mind. I've got no interest in fighting her again, but for now I'll keep that to myself. Alright then, see you around. With a parting wave, Miku hops to her feet and heads off. As I watch her leave, a feeling of jealousy wells up within me. Did I once have something that I was passionate about? I don't even know because I can't remember. I just can't remember. That gunman. The one with the cane. He might know something about me. And at this point, I'm even willing to risk a run-in with a killer to find out more about myself. I decide to head back to where he was before. When I arrive at the alley, though, there's nobody there. Paradoxically, I'm both relieved and severely disappointed. Then I happen to notice something lying on the ground. What is it? I pick it up. It's a notebook. Slipped into the back cover is a photo showing two boys and a girl. Well, what do I do now? Do I go to the police? How would I even explain the situation? I can see it now. There's this killer out there, and he's after this person named Hitomi Osawa, and then the police would be like, who's that? And who exactly is after her? And then what would I say? Honestly, no, this is not how they would react. They would actually love it for you to go tell them this. Heck, they might not even give me the time of day in the first place. Not only do I not have any idea who Hitomi Osawa is, I know nothing about the guy who's after her except that he walks with a cane. I mean, I can't even tell them who I am. They'd probably shoo me away without a second thought. And of course, this is going to be the explanation for why she doesn't go to the police, but if we have an option to do it, it's probably going to lead to a bad end, but we're going to do it anyway. What am I supposed to do? I hang my head at a total loss. The necklace around my neck sways idly to and fro. Okay, so I guess by attacking him earlier, we caused him to drop that notebook, which might come in handy later. So we've got that going for us. Now how about Achi? Let's see where Hitomi is. We've got to make sure that Achi and Hitomi don't end up dead, so... let's make sure that happens. Kanan led them into a narrow back alley. The moment she stopped, Hitomi spoke up. Members of SOS don't come by here very much. Word has it that in this place, around 10 years ago, one man beat the crap out of 7 street toughs in the blink of an eye, all by himself. Over time, people have offered various theories that he was an assassin, that he was some foreign soldier, even that he might have been a ghost, and to this day, the urban legend lives on. Why was my sister kidnapped? Before I answer that, there's something I need to tell you, Kanan said. Her tone was cold and sharp. I've come to Japan because I'm on a mission. I'm not at liberty to discuss all the details. Alright? Hitomi gave a slight nod. To answer your question, Maria was kidnapped by mistake. What? Hitomi gasped. But why? Because this kidnapper isn't after Maria. They're after you. Who's after me? The mastermind behind this whole thing, Kanan said. Her tone was matter of fact. Well, hold on, Achi interrupted. What do they want Hitomi for? That I cannot say. Well, then who is this person? I can't tell you that either. You see, their sex, nationality, age, appearance, just about everything about them is shrouded in mystery. So there's honestly not much I can tell you. Achi and Hitomi stood dumbfounded. What gives? Achi said. So you're saying all you know is that this person has some lame name like Mastermind? Hitomi turned to whisper in his ear. Mastermind isn't actually their name. Originally used solely to refer to someone of remarkable intellect, the term first took on its criminal connotations in the 19th century. Huh. I'm here, Kanan spat, because I'm looking for revenge. Revenge? Hitomi asked. What for? This person also killed my friend. Kanan's inscrutable eyes flashed with a threatening gleam. Earlier, you said that it was your fault my sister got kidnapped, Hitomi said. Kanan cast her eyes down. 4 days ago I managed to learn this criminal's plan, so I got in touch with Maria and told her that you were going to be attacked at that party. So that's why she told me not to go. Hitomi's voice trembled as she spoke. I gave Maria a small GPS tracker to give you, but I guess you never got it. Global Positioning System, a network of man-made satellites and ground-based control stations for providing geolocation data. Alternatively, a device that makes use of said system. Modern cell phones and vehicle navigation systems use the GPS. Oops. Hitomi shook her head. I see. She must still have it then. Wait, so then my sister... The color drained from Hitomi's face as she understood. Yes, Kanan replied. Maria acted as a decoy and let herself get kidnapped in your stead. Hitomi swayed on her feet, shocked to the verge of fainting. Achi hurriedly reached out and caught her in his arms. But wait, he said to Kanan as he held Hitomi up. I don't get that either. Why didn't neither of them go? Then nobody would have been kidnapped, right? I mean, why'd her sister need to go and act as a decoy? Kanan let out a tiny sigh. If she hadn't gone to the party, the kidnappers would have just found some other opportunity to come after her. Ah, okay, Achi nodded. I mean, it's still not the best plan, not even remotely. Like, they could have just gone to the police from the beginning, but I guess if they had, then I feel like there's a reason they couldn't have. Because, Maria had that picture of Stanley and said that she thought that he was dangerous, so I feel like they might have been, I don't know. That sort of makes sense. I'm betting that Maria's plan was to use the GPS to lead me to these guys' hideout. She wanted to keep her sister safe and also figured she could help me with my mission. It's the sort of scheme she'd think of. So, then can't you use the GPS to locate Hitomi's sister? Achi asked. Kanan shook her head. The GPS hasn't been powered on since she was kidnapped. It's possible the kidnappers took it from her. Wait, what? So after all that, even you can't find Maria? Achi slumped his shoulders in disappointment. I didn't say that. What do you mean? I got some intel from those syndicate members we met earlier. Apparently, sometime this morning, they put Maria into a blue minivan, and since then, they've been moving her all around Shibuya. Achi and Hitomi exchanged glances at the mention of the blue minivan. Unfortunately, Kanan continued, those operatives didn't know what the current situation was exactly. So, we're back to the blue van, then. Achi hurriedly explained what they'd been through so far. He mentioned how they'd first seen the blue van, where the kidnappers had told Hitomi to find it. He also described how first the man with the cane and then a host of others had come after them. He got a little sidetracked here and there, but Kanan quietly listened to the end. I see, she muttered. So, then what do you think? Achi asked. Seems like we messed up their scheme a little, huh? Whatever the case, this man with the cane concerns me, Kanan said. I doubt he's working with the others. I don't know what that means. Maybe that's it. Some guy who isn't involved butts in and it throws off their whole plan. Kanan nodded in agreement. Because you and that man with the cane showed up, she said. They couldn't leave the minivan where it was. They took a sensible precaution. But then, if you think about it, isn't this an opportunity for us to turn the tables on Mr. Mastermind? Kanan flashed him a faint, speculative smile. I wonder about that. Aw, come on, Achi grumbled. You're such a buzzkill. Any well-made plan has a good, solid outline, which means that even after it has come to fruition, it's easy to trace things back to the planner. Is that how that works? By contrast, if you achieve your goals using accidental means, the outline becomes blurred, and it makes it harder for anyone outside looking in to grasp what the actual plan is. Achi swallowed hard as he took in the gravity of the situation. Well, but I mean, like, if there's an accident, people are gonna for sure panic. Plan or not. The corners of Kanan's lips curled up. Typically, I suppose, she said. But the people who are after Hitomi, not only have they put together a perfect plan, they've purposely left tiny holes in it. And so we can't even figure out who they are. The outline of the plan is always too blurry. Achi had no response to that. It was like he was hearing about some completely different world beyond the one he knew. If what Kanan had said was true, he'd been dealing with opponents who were on a level way above his own. In any event, since these people are after you, it'd be best if you didn't wander around town anymore, Kanan told him. By now, Hitomi had recovered. She stood up straight and shook her head. No, I'm gonna find that blue minivan. My sister is in danger because of me. I can't abandon her just to save myself. Yeah, that's right. Achi patted Hitomi on the back. And if that's what you're gonna do, then I don't care who we're up against. I'm with you in this until the end. Heck, it's too late for me to back out now. That ship has already failed. Hitomi giggled despite herself. It's already sailed, Achi. Yeah. Kanan let out another little sigh. Alright, just make sure you're extra careful, she said. You can't count on getting bailed out of trouble like you have before. I understand, Hitomi said. Her eyes showed no trace of doubt or fear. Kanan gave her a slight nod, then quickly disappeared down the alleyway. Right then, Hachi said. Want to get back to looking for that minivan. Then he stopped, remembering their previous efforts. If they just heedlessly wandered around town, they'd probably end up in the same trouble they'd encountered before. They'd get chased by the man with the cane, or by the kidnappers, and their search would be interrupted yet again. What should they do, then? There had to be a better way. Achi happened to glance upward, and caught sight of a surveillance camera installed on one of the streetlights. Well, yeah, his family has access to that, doesn't he? That's it. God, I can't believe I didn't think of it before. Hitomi peered at him, startled by his sudden shouting. We just need to use my old man's surveillance cameras, and this'll be a breeze. Achi took Hitomi by the hand and started running. His destination, the security camera monitoring room in Dogensaka. Achi didn't slow his pace until they were nearing their destination. Then he turned to look back at Hitomi. He was about to ask if she was doing all right when someone close at hand called out to him. Hey, mind if I ask you something? Have you ever heard of SOS? Achi stopped in his tracks as a stranger stepped in front of him. The guy looked too old to be picking a fight with SOS. Achi regarded him with suspicion. Yeah, why do you ask? Do you happen to be a member yourself? No, not anymore. The man's eyes flashed with a gleam of recognition. Did this guy know who he was? With a broad grin, the stranger took a step closer. Achi's heart sank. He couldn't afford to get caught up in some new hassle right now. Hitomi flashed him a worried look. Let's go. Achi and Hitomi dodged past the man and hurried onward. Even if the guy was harmless, they needed to be on their guard. There was no telling just how many thugs and assassins were looking for Hitomi. Rather than head directly for the surveillance building, Achi decided he'd better make sure the stranger wasn't up to something. Hitomi followed as he slipped quickly into a back alley. Then there was no indication that the man was following them. What was that guy's deal? Hitomi asked. No idea, but he sure seemed kind of fishy. Doesn't look like he's coming after us, though. They took a quick detour through another seedy back alley. Then, as they were starting to head toward their original destination, Achi felt a sudden searing pain in his back. Crap. Ah! Glancing over his shoulder, he discovered that one of the foreign syndicate members had crept up and struck him from behind. Oh no. I've been stabbed. Ah! Hitomi screamed. Another man had suddenly appeared, grabbing her by the arms. Hitomi. Achi tried to reach out to her, but his arm was laden. His body refused to obey his commands. As the attacker wrenched the knife from his back, Achi felt the blood gushing out of his wound. The two men started to drag Hitomi away. Damn it. He tried to pursue them, but his legs faltered and couldn't find their footing. He was losing blood so fast he was starting to fade from consciousness. Achi could only watch impotently as Hitomi was dragged further and further away. Alright, so I have a feeling if anybody can stop that, it would be Minotikawa. Maybe we have to make him, follow them, instead of choosing not to, after he encounters them. So, let's start Minotikawa's story, I guess. Or start his, in this time block. Wait a second. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. Ah! Minorikawa stopped and let out a cry of frustration. Daisuke Endo had asked him for a favor after their interview was done. He'd promised to tell the Wandering Angels that the dry ice machine they'd purchased was defective. Oh yeah. Episode 5. At last, the climax of the play drew near. There was a whole string of troubles, but the cast soldiered on, and it looked like things were going to end all right. Then, backstage, Bondo noticed that the dry ice machine was acting strangely. Even after it had been turned off, the machine continued to churn out more dry ice. The producer, Sukozawa, demanded that the defective device be returned immediately. And so Tozuka, Bondo, and Amo loaded it into their vehicle and left the theater. Continued in episode 6. You know, I have a feeling that somehow this is all going to come to a head and, like, they're going to end up saving the day at some point or something. I just have an inkling that that might occur. Well, damn. That had completely slipped his mind. If you recall correctly, the issue was that once the machine started making dry ice, it wouldn't stop. If he ran back to the theater now, he'd lose about 10 minutes. Minorikawa checked his wristwatch. The loan people would be coming by the editing office before too long. He needed to prove to them that next month's issue of 4-Star General Gossip was well underway, or else they'd refuse to wait any longer for repayment. And to do that, he needed to fill a minimum of 6 of the 12 remaining blank pages. He couldn't afford to waste even a single second. This was an awkward position to be in. He needed to keep his promise to Endo, but he also needed to spend his time wisely. Guess I don't have a choice. There was nothing he could do about having forgotten. He hurried on to the cafe. You know, he agreed to take on a responsibility. He headed back to the theater. That could have some interesting results. I feel like that's going to be the wrong answer, but I think we should try it. He'd agreed to take on a responsibility. He headed back for the theater. When he got there, he flagged down the first guy he saw to tell him about the dry ice machine. Hey, make sure you remember what I'm about to tell you, okay? The dry ice machine is broken. The man stared back at him blankly, but Minorikawa just forged ahead. Got it? The dry ice machine is broken. It needs to go back to the electronics store. Make sure you let the folks in charge here know. His obligation met, he hurried back to the cafe to get back to work on his copy. Along the way, he caught sight of a young couple running. They seemed like an odd pair. The girl looked prim and proper, while the boy struck him as a bit thuggish. In fact, the boy's clothing was very much in the style worn by Shibuya street gangs. Maybe he'd know something about SOS. Hurrying to cross their path, Minorikawa called out to the pair. Hey, mind if I ask you something? Have you ever heard of SOS? The pair stopped, eyeing him warily. The young man spoke. Yeah, why do you ask? You happen to be a member yourself. No, not anymore. Well, if the kid had once been a part of the group, he ought to be able to provide some background anyhow. Minorikawa took a step closer to the couple, formulating his next question. But they didn't stick around to hear it. Let's go, the young man said, and a moment later he and the girl were running away. Ah, hey! But the pair paid him no heed. In a moment they had vanished down an alley. The story about SOS would have to wait till later then. Well, maybe if we just hurry to the cafe, then we won't run into them. Let's try that. There's nothing he could do about having forgotten. He hurried on to the cafe. Sorry, Endo. Sorry, Owari. Or Owarai. You're just gonna have to let this one slide. I've got Toyama's life on the line here. I mean, the tip already said that they ran into problems with the dry ice machine, so... I wonder if that changed anything for Achi. I mean, it changed a little bit. So, I don't know. We can continue on with Minorikawa, but I think next time we are actually going to switch back to Achi and see where this takes us. So, until next time, I will see you then. So take care.